up here in the bottom position. He is Africa Freaks. Trepu.
And in the upper left, going for a 12 pool in game number 1 in the blue, he's REYNOR. And
Oh
I don't
my
know.
God. What?
I don't know whether
way...
you follow any other esports, but in the words of a famous Dota call, it's getting spicy.
I can't remember who that is, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about here. It is certainly a spicy meatball that REYNOR is throwing on out. We've moved on from pizza to meatballs, apparently. But REYNOR is also going to hide the fact that he is going to go for an expansion here. Remember, last time we saw REYNOR go for this kind of aggressive Lings Across the Map trap, actually did a fantastic job of just kind of blocking his ramp, even though, yeah, I saw that too. He did a fantastic job with one Zealot and a couple of probes of defending, but now he's just going to play it a lot safer and get the full wall off.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, it should be pointed out, 12 pool, it's not the all-in thing. Oh, actually, wait a minute. How many? Ooh, REYNOR getting the maximum number of links here. It's anywhere between 8 and 12, but REYNOR opting for 12, even though he knows he's been scouted. So that's an interesting decision. I don't think he shouldn't commit anything more than that, but keep an eye for the moment. But it's kind of funny how at this point 12 pool is just a solid macro opener in this style at the moment. It does a really good job of forcing the Protoss to do things that they don't necessarily want to do, forces them off mining, delays that natural. But of course, I mean, you delay your natural as well. So the actually, you know what, the Zerglings. Oh no, the Zealot's gonna get surrounded here.
Yeah, luckily he does have the second Zealot coming on out. The probe's going to buffer for a little bit here, but REYNOR just barely not getting in here. Hold the line, essentially. Is just going to sack in because that Adept is going to be enough to clean this up. At this point, I think REYNOR, he did a pretty good job here. He got a couple of kills, a couple of Zealots, forced Trap to kind of be a bit more defensive, forced out a lot of units, and now I think he can go home with his head held high.
Yeah, in all honesty, this was incredibly beneficial here for REYNOR. He got just about as much as he would wish to get. He got 2 workers, he got 2 zealots, and that means that, well, now Trap does not have that really annoying 2 zealot, 1 adept move out across the map that forces a bunch more zerglings because, well, you just weren't successful. And that just means that REYNOR's going to be able to hold that a little bit easier with his queens with just a couple extra zerglings. He got 2 drones. He was able to delay the 3rd base for quite a while. And this is actually kind of, unless you kill your opponent, which almost never happens with this build, this is pretty much the maximum possible damage that this 12 pool gets. Now, this is, of course, 3 adepts coming out across the map here. And at the very least, they will be able to curtail creep. But, you know, 3 adepts actually can fight this amount of zerglings pretty well. And they will complete on the way in. And that will force, well, it's going to force REYNOR to have to, maybe not panic, but be a little bit worried. But now, of course, we do have the, well, the queen's going to target one of these adepts down. And now the zerglings will surround. But of course the adepts, now they're just going to shade on out. Not going to be all that impactful. Well handled here from REYNOR, but he did have to build 10 more lings that he really would have preferred to be drones.
Yeah, exactly. He also doesn't have speed, so he's really going to have to throw something down here to deal with this adept glaives coming on up. So there's two kind of schools of thought here. You can either go for roaches, which is much more common because that will allow you to kind of tank the adept shots a little bit more. Or you could just kind of try and go for banelings and get the connections that you need. I think that one's a little bit less common, I would say. But, well, yeah.
There's actually the style that Zerg's been playing more and more now, and I don't think REYNOR can go for this because he doesn't have speed and will not have speed by the time this hits, not really. Is where you go for the DRG hold kind of, and you get the spine and you get the delayed Roach Warren. But after that, what you do is you only get 3 roaches. And you turn them into Ravagers, and you just get the Zerglings surrounding the Adepts and just drop Biles on their heads. And that works. That seems to work pretty well because, of course, Ravagers, they're faster than Roaches. They have longer range. And all you need is some Zerglings to immobilize the Adepts, and then they just go down. That has been the kind of, that's the most modern way to play this style. And actually, you know what? Speed will finish just around the time that Glaives are on the way because, well, this Glaive timing, it's hitting later because it was a 12 pool, because things were delayed. And that's exactly what we're going to see here. As generally, Glaive finishes right around 4:30. and that's when that timing starts. So now we have more and more Zerglings on the way. Speed will be finished in 10 seconds, actually finishing before Glaives, and Reynor is going to be in a fairly decent spot to hold this. That being said, though, he's only on 38 workers. He's not at the 41 that you would normally like to be.
Reynor going for a little bit of a counterattack here. He's got a ton of lings on the production tab. Like you said, if this doesn't work out for him, then that's going to be a lot of minerals wasted here. The Queen trying to survive all this. Hearts out, Transfuse coming on down. A little bit of juggling here. Going to keep some of those Adepts alive, but that first warp in, or first shade rather, is going to be the big teller here. I think Reynor has held this beautifully right now. He's bought plenty of time to get out the roaches. We do see Trap already transitioning because he knows this isn't really going to get too much else. And yeah, from here, I think both players are going to just have to build up a little bit. Although Reynor does get in. Oh, no.
It's funny. We talked about how, yeah, you know, Reynor, he's great at his Zergling counterattacks, but Trap, the way the style Trap plays really does not open the way for it. But, yeah, it's getting a run by into a 2-base Protoss. It's pretty hard to do, but if you just kind of go and you leave the wall open, that's just going to happen. That being said, not too many workers will go down, but what it has happened here is Trap has been forced home. That has bought Reynor time to actually start building some more workers, to be able to establish, to get more gas mining, put himself in a position, and he will be able to deny the third for the nice save. Oh, look at that Trap! He's gonna pick the probe up. He's gonna be able to save it, and the third base will finish up. Will get started, but incredibly late. 4 minutes is a standard. 4:30 is a standard timing for a third base. 5 minutes is the timing if you go for Adepts, for the Glaive Adepts. But it is
7 minutes.
Oh no, it's gonna get canceled. Yeah. At this point, and yes, the timings of this game are pushed back by just about a minute because of the 12 pool, but this is still effectively a 6-minute third if we look at it from that perspective, and that's still incredibly late.
Well, I mean, you know why. These guys are in different time zones, so they got different timings for everything. But yeah, from here, you know, we do have a way later layer. Oh my goodness. So Trap just doing a good job of delaying that. That Immortal does not live up to its name here. It just gets surrounded on the purple carpet. I feel like, you know, as this game goes on, I feel like we might be seeing these losses come off the back of mistakes rather than just outplaying, because these two are so equally matched right now. It's pretty much coming down to the mistakes that are costing time, costing minerals, costing income. And yeah, that's what I gotta say about that.
Well, you've got to remember here that, yes, every StarCraft game is a function of who makes less mistakes, but when we look at players playing at this level, it very much is, the Depths will find their way in, but really not get a whole lot into the natural. Nice way to keep on top of things from Reynor. A lot of this is these players are playing so fast and playing at such a high level, and both players are so very good that it's not necessarily I make a mistake, I make an unforced error. A lot of it is, although, okay, the Immortal was probably an unforced error. A lot of this is forced errors, is Reynor putting so much pressure on Trap that Trap has an Immortal rally across the map because he had to deal with something and Reynor hit it just the right time. It is Trap putting army in 2 places at once, and so Reynor, he doesn't split his army appropriately. All things like that. So yes, it's always a game of mistakes, and whoever makes less mistakes in the game will end up winning. But to say, oh, it's just because these players are not playing very well, is not fair to them. It's much more that the players are playing really well and they're forcing mistakes out of their opponent.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. It's just I cannot, I did not say it well. Also, TY Fanboy, thank you for the bits. PogChamp indeed. And so now Reynor is still trying to force those mistakes. There is plenty of force field energy, so you do have to be careful going up those ramps with the Lings. But if you could actually catch this army out in the middle of the map like that, a couple of, I don't know if you remember back in, I believe it was the beta, but there was a couple of times where a wayward, some wayward force fields would trap the entire Protoss army, and then they would get biled so hard that you literally were screaming at your screen.
Yeah, you know what? I don't necessarily remember that. It's pretty much immediately we saw biles used to remove force fields, but
yeah,
I don't know. There may be a game you're thinking of that I didn't see or I don't remember.
There's a couple. I just
Reynor
can't remember the names.
Yeah, so Reynor now, he's got a massive army supply lead. Baneling speed is just about done. We do have +1 melee. I'm surprised we don't see +2 melee get started, but Reynor's just got this incredibly powerful timing now. Because the build Trap went for, when you go for the Glaives build, you have to get damage done. And because Reynor was actually able to get a relatively nice trade there with that 12 pool, he got a whole lot more damage than he ever expected. Well, now Trap, he's down 60 supply, and he is dealing with the Zerglings.
Oh.
Zealot was not on hold position. Now we're going to have Zerglings get on into the main base, get into the natural. And that is going to force a recall, which means, you know what that means? Reynor, he's going to get on top of the third base as well. Now these Zerglings, only 6 workers will go down, but the Colossus is not with the main army now. So these Biles, those Banelings, they will be able to get on top of things, Zerglings as well. And this is where things get a little bit problematic for a red Protoss player. Banelings only crashing into the Immortals right now, which is kind of problematic, but now they're getting on in. 7 workers have died, but there are no shield battery overcharges or shield batteries for that point anymore. And oh wow, so many probes are barely alive. And actually, Reynor, he's gonna have to back up for the moment. Wait for some more Banelings.
Yeah, I think he doesn't even need to wait for the Banelings so much as the Lings to kind of buffer for the Ravagers, but it doesn't even really matter. A Trap being forced down below 100 supply. He is moving out on the map, but that is more of a desperation move here. Reynor just going to be able to reinforce with 10 additional Roaches. The Immortal's going to be wailing away, but oh my goodness here. He just really doesn't have enough to deal with this anymore.
You know what? The Reynor's still in a pretty good position in this game, especially because Trap is attacking on creep, but that was an incredible defense for Trap. I mean, did you see his Warp Prism micro with the Immortals, dropping them on top of the Ravagers, just assassinating so many of their number without losing anything? Like, Trap, yeah, he's not in a good position in this game, but the way he held that, the way he very easily could have just lost, is incredibly impressive. And now he's put himself in a position where maybe if he gets good enough force fields, if he gets a good enough push, maybe he can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. I mean, it's not looking good, and this Roach counterattack into the third base should seal the deal here. But again, massive respect for Trap. Did an incredible job of giving himself a chance in a game that he realistically did not have a chance in. But now there we have it. GG Reynor. He's gonna take game number 1.
A Trap. Definitely making him work for it, though, and that is the big thing. Even that last attack of Trap may have been out of desperation, or not so much desperation, but he wanted to. He had to do something at that point because you're so far behind. You need to kind of get on top of that economy. But my goodness, that was very good play out of Reynor there. Just finding those little angles that Trap wasn't paying attention to. Like we've said before, he's backstabbed perfectly. How dare Zerg attack? Yes, you are correct. Like, how dare that Zerg make that engagement work for him?
Well, you know what? We're talking about small maps. We're talking about aggressive options. We got Submarine next. What do you think the odds are we're going to see another 12 pool here? I doubt it because we saw it in game number 1, and you kind of don't tend to see builds happen 2 games in a row. At least not from the Zerg. You might see multiple Skytoss builds or something coming in from the Protoss because of less build options that allow you to get into the late game for the Protoss in the current meta, but also just say they're a little bit more stock standard. Zerg tends to have to be a little bit more reactive to how the game goes. So I don't think we're gonna see a 12 pool again on this map, but you never know. It is Submarine.
You know what? I think Submarine has produced, even though we don't see it as often, I think it has produced some of the best maps that we have seen just overall. Also, let me fix that. All right. And you know what, guys? We are going to be hopping into this place where we all live in the yellow Submarine. Spawning up here in the top position in the blue corner, he is Trap.
And in the bottom right, in the red, up 1-0 for Team Clash, he's Reynor. And you know,
Cast a curse.
Yeah, it's a 12 pool once again. One thing we should point out, though, is this is Trap's map pick. This was when I was kind of sitting there watching picks and vans. Reynor picked Lightshade, but Trap picked Submarine as his second map, and that is incredibly surprising. Again, this is a map that is pretty good for the Zerg if they're going to be aggressive, and you know, Reynor has shown his penchant for doing that, as we will see the hatch block attempted. Reynor's actually going to be forced to take his natural elsewhere, or at least severely delay that coming on out. But now Trap will see things. He's like, okay, Larva's been spent. I know this is not just an expand build. 12 pool is incoming.
Yeah, now remember, the last time these two fought, Trap was able to hold on very well. This going for the double gateway is going to delay his tech slightly as well. Does look like REYNOR is going to be very aggressive with this. He got 10 lings going across. And, I mean, we'll have to see if Trap can hold on as efficiently as he did in the last series between these two.
Yep. So how many Zerglings do we have? About 10. Actually, it's only staying on 10 here, not going up to 12. Oh, never mind. Extra links. Now they're on the way. Caster Curse indeed. And this is, again, the more aggressive side of things. You can see Zerg players get 8, get 10, get 12. 8 is just, I just want to put a little pressure on. 12 is, maybe I can get something a little bit more done. And we will once again see Trap. He has pulled the probes. He has this Zealot here. Realistically, I mean, we've seen Trap make some incredible holds on this map in particular, and now the second Zealot out. Yeah, this is not going to get nearly as much as happened last time. Especially now, we have an Adept that's just about done. Yeah, REYNOR shouldn't get anything done here. Well, okay,
oh,
you know what?
Okay, Caster Curse. Hitting.
That's
Okay,
just what's happening.
you have been
That shouldn't have happened.
You have been so flawless today that it's all gonna hit you at once right now, man. That's just how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah, I am just pulling a full-on Artosis into this series. I'm like, there's no way. It's 2 Zealots and an Adept out. Protoss is taking. REYNOR's gonna be able to get this gate. Oh man, well played there from REYNOR. He's gonna get. You know, we talk about getting a couple probes. That's good damage. Getting a couple Zealots. That's good damage. But not cutting the Protoss production in half. Man, that is such a good move from REYNOR here, even if he will have to deal with 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts finding their way across the map here. Well done from REYNOR. That is such a big move.
Yeah, now keep in mind, he doesn't actually have any speed on the way, only just now getting the gas for it. So if Trap does decide to go across the map, the Lynx are going to have to fight on the creep in order to be completely effective here. We do see Trap moving out with all of his units. Going to see what he can get done with them. I don't think that Shade finishes. No, it does not. And behind this, I think Trap just wants to try and get some blood in the water here. We might see Glaive. I think that's going to be the best option for him here, just with the number of Adepts.
Yeah, this is this is going to work out a lot better for Trap than it did in the first game. This is 3 Zealots, or sorry, 2 Adepts and 3 Zealot, or yeah, three Adepts, 2 Zealots. You get the point. This is a lot of army coming on in here. 1 Queen will be assassinated. Second one will go down. Yes, it will. Will go down as well. And this is going to be a really nice trade, even if Trap is not able to get probes or drones. But now he is, as he's found his way on into the main base, and he's just going to wedge himself in here into the mineral line. And this is, you know what? Yes, getting that gateway was so big for REYNOR, but Trap is equalizing this damage in spades as Queens go down, as drones are really forced off the line. Even if they don't go down, 5 workers have already died, and GG. It's a best of 3.
There you have it, guys. Trap clapping back like not really letting REYNOR have his way with him. It was so good, so good. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what kind of game that was. That was seriously like,
honestly, that was Trap baiting REYNOR into a build because he's like, yeah, submarine, I'm gonna pick that map. Go aggressive against me.
Yeah, do it. I dare you.
It didn't work out, not at all. So now it's a best of 3. We have 1 small map and 2 big maps, 1 aggressive map and 2 defensive maps left in the pool. So when we look at the balance of things, I'm thinking that Cyril had to, or wow, I got it right, then I got it wrong. That REYNOR has had to win these first 3 maps, just with how the balance of things goes, with how good Trap is looking right now, and he lost a submarine game. So I think REYNOR probably wins this map just because it happened last time, and Oxide's a good aggressive option. But Trap has these 2 maps to fall back on that are just incredibly good for the strongest style that Protoss has at the moment.
Yeah, I think this is it's gonna come down to we might see the same build. I think that's gonna be the best. Just kind of getting that not so much German train. I think we were calling it the German bus because it's a little bit slower with the queens waddling across the map. But you know what? The positions are actually different this time. The reverse. So let us see if that makes a difference. Up here in the top position, spawning in for the Afrika Freaks, he is Trap.
And in the bottom right, the Italian Stallion for Team Clash. Give it up for REYNOR. So, I don't know how much of a difference being at the top versus the bottom will make. And yeah, actually, you know what? Technically, Passer, when you see the Queen's Waddle, it's the Soul Stroll.
The Soul Stroll.
That's what it
there
has
you
been.
go.
That is what it has been dubbed, not by me, but by other people. But it's got that nice, not necessarily well, it's got the alliteration. It's also got that nice kind of rhyming convention to it. Very pleasing to the ear. So,
I used to call it just March of the
time.
March of the Penguins, you know?
Yeah, as they waddle across the map. I gotta say, though, I think Penguins are a little bit faster on land than Queens are. Queens are just so slow.
True, true. But, I mean, you think about it, penguins are so fast because they're walking on ice. When you walk on ice, you're much quicker. So the creep is kind of the Queen's ice. Eh? Eh? I don't know where I'm going with that.
I choose to ignore that statement, and we're going to go from there. So, you know what? One thing we should point out here is this is a game that has not started with a trove pool. REYNOR said, you know what? It didn't work out last time. I think he kind of figured it out. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go on into a bigger, better timing. Or, as they say, going on to bigger and better things. And I think those bigger, better things probably involve Hydras and Ravagers and Roaches and Queens. And we'll see exactly what happens here. But more importantly, we're going to look to see whether Trap gets his Stargate or not. As we are, well, Cybercore is just about done. We're hitting that point where he's going to have gas for whatever he decides to go for. And keep an eye on things. But also, I mean, Trap has been going for that Stargate after Warp Gate too, so Warp Gate's on the way. And this may mean that Trap is not going for that Stargate, but it's a little more nebulous than it was in terms of build choice than it was 6 months ago. But there we go. Twilight Council is on the way. We're going to see a Glaive build once again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we might be, yeah, you're right. We might be seeing that at Depth Glaives once again. Obviously, Blink, not really on the cards. DTs, no.
I mean, there are some DT builds, and I have seen some Protoss players experimenting with it. It's just out of meta, and you're right. We could absolutely see a DT build here. We could see a Blink build. We could even see a Zealot charge build, which not all that common whatsoever.
You know what? It's not common, but if you can hit that right timing, it is so powerful indeed. Like it just hits at the perfect time, and then you can easily transition into Archon Storm behind it. So it's just you're just able to really throw your opponent off. And I think the off-meta builds are the ones that can hit the hardest because you're not expecting them at all. And that's why they do so
this
much.
Is fair, but I think also builds like that are powerful strictly because, I mean, they're weird, and they rely on a lack of scouting. Is it? Okay, yeah, that's just going up for four gate glaive. I was like, oh man, are we going up to extra gates? We're not. But you got to remember, this level, like the answer to Glaive Adepts and the answer to Charge Let All Ends are roughly similar. I mean, yeah, you get less roaches, but you have the tech. You have the tech you're looking for, anyways. And that's just kind of how that is. Is once again, REYNOR, he saw something that said, yeah, I don't have to worry about I think the extra adepts and seeing the gateway time. He says, look, I don't need spores anymore. I'm going to cancel that. Roach one's on the way. Let me start just pumping out lings. And it's going to be at that 38 number. Going up to about 40, 41. That's going to allow him to hold appropriately, as this is the first time we're actually going to see the glaive timing hit at the appropriate timing.
There you go.
The glaive's going to finish at 430. We're going to have that push coming on in immediately. Trap just hitting it really crisply. And we're just going to have to see REYNOR make the hold. Of course, this is the DRG style of hold once again. Now, there is no spine here, so it's a little bit less, but the queens have been full forward, and it's just going to be Zergling Queen defense for the moment. Now, we are only 3 queens are here at the moment, so that doesn't mean that things are maybe not going to get traded properly at first, but now Zerglings will get that surround on top of things, and queens are going to keep firing. And yeah, we'll force a pickup here. Really nice Warp Prism Micro here from Trap, but it will not be enough. And REYNOR, he's going to take a pretty good trade. Now Roaches are on the way. This is, again, much more the DRG style. We're not seeing Ravagers come out of this. This is just 9 Roaches, a bunch of Zerglings. And REYNOR, he's already safe. He said, look, I'm already in a good position. Let's start to drone up behind this. I'm not all that worried. That's a fair assessment to go for in this game.
I love this creep spread, by the way. Just look how far Trap has to travel on it in order to get to his target of those bases. He is literally seen for miles, and even without speed, those roaches are just able to keep up here. We do see that Warp Prism going to be jumping in, but that's not going to get too much done. So yeah, just a really solid hold from REYNOR here. He really doesn't take much damage. Just kind of taking a look at the units lost. Yeah, links and a creep tour. No big deal.
Yeah, and you got to remember here, I think someone in chat saying, well, the Laren Warren is, and the Laren Roach Warren is late. That's actually not true. So there is a build where you just get, there is a way of, an archaic way of holding this, where you just get your Roach Warren really quickly and go from there. But the way all modern top tier Zergs hold at this point, there are two different options. One is the Ravager build, and one is just kind of Roach Ling. Both of those, they get the 4-minute, the 4-minute, 10-second Roach Warren because you hold initially with Queens and with Zerglings. You don't care about Roaches at first because the first eight Adepts are not all that scary. So now what we have here is REYNOR. He's going to drone up his third base. He's going to finish his lair. He's going to get Roach speed. He's maybe going to drop a Baneling Nest. Whatever tech he decides to go for is up to him. But because the third base is so late, because the Adepts got, I think, like 2 workers. Yeah, they got 2 workers on a later push going in. Didn't even trade all that efficiently. There we go. Baneling Nest is on the way. REYNOR, he's going to be able to hit a timing in just about 45 seconds from now. That is incredibly powerful, but now Trap, he's trying to miss this just a little. He's hitting this build that is a much more closer to an analog of the original build that Zis came up with, where Immortals and Sentries are brought out onto the map, and you do have that follow-up push, but actually, no, Trap's going to back up. I guess this was just to posture and maybe try to force a couple more units, because, I mean, realistically, I don't see that push doing all that much. As now, REYNOR will find this third base. At the very least, we'll be able to remove the pylon. Shouldn't be much more than that. There we go.
You know, we do have OV speed, and I want to keep an eye on this for the fact that there is a potential for the German train. But here we go. The Adept's going to be moving their way in, get a couple of lings, might lose the Warp Prism, and indeed does so. So that is a pretty nice pickup for REYNOR. That's going to buy himself a little bit more room to breathe. Now, he hasn't actually started respreading the creep in the front of the map, so he's going to have to start that soon if he wants to get that creep highway really, really powerful here. But yeah, right now he's stopped at 80 workers, or close to 80 workers as he can, and now it's just units, units, units the entire way through.
Yeah, we're going to see REYNOR hit with a +1 Speedling, Roach Raptor, Speedling, Baneling. Sorry? Yeah, Dropper Lord's on the way. Where is that though? Yeah, that's for a Baneling drop.
Oh,
this is not going to be. This is not going to be the German taxi. German taxi is a response to Stargate builds, and there's no Stargate here, so it's not going to be nearly as impactful.
Darn.
But we're going to see REYNOR hit this timing now, where he's going to be about 180 supply. He's going to have Speedlings. He's going to have +1 ranged. He may have +1 melee done by this point, and he's just going to be towering just towering over his opponent from a supply perspective. And, well, that's the timing he's going to look to hit, most likely. Although he is, of course, progressing onwards out of this. We do have an Infestation Pit on the way as he looks to, well, have the opportunity to move on into the late game, taking his 5th base as well. But there is just going to be an incredibly solid timing from REYNOR here that is going to be so difficult for Trap to deal with. Now, this Baneling drop, +1 won't be done for it, but it does provide the opportunity to maybe get some damage done if Trap is not paying attention. As we're going to have to take a look whether he gets the probe pull in time. Trap, are you paying attention? He is. So that's, well, REYNOR, he says, okay, well, Trap's paying attention, so am I. Gonna back off, try it again later.
Yeah, a little bit too slow on that one, so he will not get that off, but he still has 11 more workers on the way, going up to Hive Tech, which is really the point where you can just do fantastic here. Looks like Trap is going to be moving out on 150 supply, and just kind of force this back to the edge of the creep. It's going to be interesting to see where he wants to fight. He wants to fight up that ramp, but he needs to get great force fields in order to do so. It looks like REYNOR's just going to seed that up and just kind of say, come in, set the spider to the fly.
Yeah, if we look at the mini-map here, we see a big cluster on the right-hand side. We see a bunch of Banelings on the left-hand side. We see the main army in front. So Trap, rather intelligently not taking that fight. He's like, okay, well, yeah, this is not going to work. REYNOR was just going to crush that attack. But because Trap backs up, REYNOR, he's going to retreat some of his army as well. And, well, the Hive is getting closer to finishing. And Hive is the ultimate counter to Robotech, to Colossi, to Disruptors, to whatever it is. Because, well, they do a lot of damage, but if they get abducted, they just kind of die. So I'm actually surprised this game has gone as late as it has. Generally, when you do see the adept glaive timing not do anything, not get anything done, the Zerg just kind of runs across the map at 150, 170 supply and says, "Look, I got Roach Ravager. What you gonna do about it?" And they just kind of win. So very surprised that we're seeing this go as late as it is, but Trap's done a good job of posturing appropriately, of maybe scaring Reynor just enough that he doesn't really feel comfortable in getting this attack or making that game-ending attack. And now, well, there's some sort of army parity. Yes, Reynor's got a little bit better upgrades, but the supplies are just about even, and the army value is in favor, just barely in favor of Trap as well. So not a bad situation for Trap to be in, even as that attack didn't get a whole lot of damage done. I'm really surprised we're on a 4-base situation right now.
Indeed, indeed. Looks like Trap is going to be clearing up some of the creep as well, a little bit more, but Reynor is setting up for the surround here. There's plenty of force field energy to help keep this back, but the Baneling's actually going to get on top of almost everything here, forcing Trap back to his own fourth. The Bio's doing a good job of cleaning up those force fields, so there's not a lot of energy left, but Trap is completely maxed out, by the way. This is his timing. This is when he wants to push in, and this is when he wants to try and kill Reynor. Can he do it? Stick around to find out.
Absolutely. Now the Vipers, they're going to go forward. The question is whether any can get targeted down. One Colossus will get down. Second one will get abducted, but will stay alive. Great War Prism Micro there, and Trap's army is staying alive. Now the question, though, is whether Reynor will be able to do anything with the Remax. Trap's army, though, it is on the doorstep here. It is knocking forwards, and yes, Reynor is up 30 army supply, but you've got to remember that is not actualized army supply yet. That is army that is morphing. Those are Banelings that are morphing here, and now Trappy's found his way on into the natural, not able to cancel +2 in time, but it looks like this natural base will go down. Now we will see another abduct. This Colossus will die, but now we're going to see the Stalkers blink forward on top of Banelings. Maybe that was not the best move from Trap, but he's still taking fairly good fights as he's found his way into the main base here. And we're going to have, it looks like with this Baneling flanking from behind, it looks like that should be enough to remove Trap from the map. But as I say that, Trap has found a really good position here.
Yeah, I think Trap is just doing a little bit too much here. He's on top of the tech. He's going to get rid of the Vipers as well. The Hive is completely dead. And unfortunately, Reynor just not able to bring his forces together in order to combat this. So, you know, he might have a good army here, and he might have enough, but the recall after this, you don't have to fight this as Trap if he doesn't want to. But you know what? He says, I can kill you right the heck now. And it looks like that might be the case here. The Ravager's starting to do a bit of work, but good War Prism Micro going to keep that Colossus alive. And, you know, even if Trap loses his units here, he's got that next big warp in. And I think that is going to be it for our blue Zerg friend. GG is called.
That Colossus was on 13 health and had 52 kills. What a great job from Trap keeping that Colossus alive. Just really finding that timing once again where he says, you know what? My army's aging out. Let's go make a trade. Let's see what I can go on in there, and just through some really great force fields, really great splits. And he just kind of was able to wedge himself in. And because Oxide is so small, the Zerg was not able to take advantage of the fact that he has Larva, that he's Larva Bank, that he's maxed out, that he's able to go on and do things like that and fight with multiple armies, because Trap took that fight pretty much on top of the Zerg's fourth base. So with that being the case, Trap was able to crunch on in there, remove the tech from Reynor's side of the map, and that's how things went.
Indeed, indeed. So just fantastic play from Trap. He knew the exact timings. The War Prism Micro was flawless. A lot of just good stuff that we saw there, even with a little bit of a ping disadvantage for both sides here, because we are on the North American server, so you could kind of feel that a little bit. I don't know if you guys ever play cross server. It's not pleasant, and these guys actually do notice even the smaller things. Like I remember talking to a bunch of players who were saying they were noticing things and like nobody else could see them other than the players. So a lot of things going into this last game, but Trap did buy himself a little bit of room to breathe. I mean, he can even dial this one in if he wants to. He doesn't even have to win this one.
This is true indeed, but hey, you know what, Passer? Instead of talking about what might happen, let's talk about what is actually happening. as game number 5, or game number 4, it's all loaded up.
Indeed it is. We're going on to Romanticide. So a pretty good map for this guy up here in the top position, representing Africa. He is Trap.
And in the bottom right, in the blue, his tournament life, his grand finals life on the line for Team Clash. He's REYNOR.
All right, so no cheeky shenanigans right now. REYNOR kind of just maybe playing this one a little bit more standard. We do see him taking that third base, just kind of telling the probe, you know what, you can't deny me my right to become a building if I want to be one. And yeah, from here, I don't think Trap is really going to throw everything away with some sort of crazy aggressive push that overextends. But we more than likely we might see that Adept Glaives once again. It's either that or he's going to go back into what he knows best, that Stargate play.
You know, I think it is going to be the Stargate play. Romanticide is a really good map for it. You just kind of get 3 bases for free, and there's a decent amount of dead airspace. So, but the key there is you get your 3rd base for free. It's kind of relatively easy to hold your 4th. And with that being the case, with that is, well, those are kind of the 2 requirements you need for really to play anything a bit greedier, and that's exactly what Trap, well, we may see Trap go for. I can't say that's what he's going to go for yet, as it is only 1 minute and 52 seconds in the game, and there's not a whole lot to go off of at this point. Now, the question, though, is REYNOR has won with the 12 pool. He has lost with the 12 pool. He has also lost a game where he held 4-gate Glaive, which realistically, again, I'm surprised he didn't just hit with like a Roach Ravager Ling attack as an immediate follow-up. Especially considering he killed so many of the Adepts that were on the map. But the question is, what does he go for here? Does he go for something a bit more aggressive? Does he try to hit a Hydra timing? Does he try to play Hydraling Pain? What is his mindset for this series? But there we go. Warp Gate into Stargate. This is, again, this is the new way of playing things. It means that it's that much harder for the Zerg to scout exactly what's happening, because you can't just tell that, oh, well, from the fact that the Warp Gate is a little bit late, it's a Stargate play. And that means it's going to be a little bit harder for REYNOR to figure out what's happening. And, well, maybe that might force him into some idea, make some inefficiency that otherwise he would not do.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just forcing your opponent to play more reactionary than maybe they would like, just like you said. But, yeah, the question really... I had a question somewhere, but I totally forgot it.
It's all okay,
it is
my friend. It's a long day. It already has been a long day. So, in this game, Trap now, we do have the Oracle on the way. Probably we'll see a Void Ray come out behind this. And, well, REYNOR, at the very least, he's getting a Spore at the standard, because he doesn't really know exactly what's happening at this point. But, well, you know, you might as well be safe. So there we go. We're going to have the Void Ray on the way after this. And, well...
Yeah.
From this passer, we're going to see a 3rd base go down at 4 minutes, 10 seconds. We're going to see a 2nd Stargate get dropped shortly after that. And actually, the Zerglings are going to try to see where they can get remove these Adepts, and they will be able to do so. But on the flip side, trading most of their number, which means it's going to be more difficult for them to delay this 3rd base, which is going up at 4:05. Now,
yeah, but you know,
we're going to see 2nd Stargate come up.
They did expend a lot of that Oracle energy, and we see that it only gets 2, while also getting very weak here. So that is a little bit of a trade-off. But like you said, that 3rd base going to go up without too much of a hassle here. I think he would just be better off sending those in and try and sack him for a scout rather than try and cancel that. But yeah, there you go. 2nd Stargate on the way, going up to those 6 Void Rays, transitioning out, and REYNOR, you know, he's just going to go back to what he does best. He's getting the Roach tech up. We should be seeing the Lair start pretty soon here as well, since he's seen the Void Ray. Actually, has he seen the Void Ray? He must have.
Yeah, he lost an Overlord to it. So,
yes.
These Adepts will kind of find their way in. Oh, getting actually 4 workers. They're going to get 5 workers. That is unexpected. That should not have happened. And 1 Adept will find its way into the main base. That means it's going to get at least 1 more worker, too. Although, yeah, there we go. Trap will be able to get it. So 6 workers for 2 Adepts and a good scout.
I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're gonna have to see. So REYNOR, he did opt to not skip the Roach Warren because I mean that's a pretty good idea. Now, granted, with how quickly that third base was taken, okay, you don't really have to worry about it. But there is this build that Stats goes for, or that Stats started doing, and I considered it their Stats build, even if no one else does. That you go when you kind of get an early-ish third, you get at 420 ish, and you have open Stargate. But behind that, you drop a Twilight Council, you get Glaives, and you move across the map at like 6 minutes with 12 Glaive Adepts, and you kill a Zerg who has been a little bit too greedy, who has not gotten a Roach Warren. Now that's not exactly what happens here, and this is of course double Stargate. I believe REYNOR will be aware of this once he sees the amount of Void Rays that are out. But there is that something, which is of course why you get the Roach Warren, even if you don't end up needing. Just make sure that you don't die to some sort of janky, weird all-in off of a Stargate open. Now REYNOR, he will go. Hydrogen is on the way here, so it looks like we're gonna see the build that he tried to make, that he made work on Oxide and failed to make work on Juggernaut. And we're gonna have to see, well, whether it works on Romanticide here. I think it's more likely that we see something like what we saw on Juggernaut than we will on Oxide. But I know, was that light? Never mind, that was Light Shade, I think. Anyway, whatever the map was, we're gonna have to see what happens.
Indeed. Here comes all the transitions. Templar Archive, 6 gateways. Looks like Trap is going to hit a pretty nice timing here with these Void Rays as well, since there's only 3 queens. The Transfuse Energy going to do what they can, but there's just not enough heal to go around. Wow, this is actually amazing damage here from Trap, because this means that there's not going to be that much larva for REYNOR to use in the future. How many queens does he have left? Okay, he still has a couple, but those are starting to fall as they need to come here to defend. Void Rays might have overextended a little bit, though, so the Hydra's going to get some poke downs on those. And, yeah, I think Trap needs to get out of here. Just take what you got and leave.
Now, this is game-defining at this point. In all honesty, Void Rays can snowball so hard. Now, granted, there are enough Hydras on the way, Hydras on the map, that REYNOR should be able to stabilize here, but losing, what was it, 4 queens? He just lost 5 queens in this game. Losing that many queens when you're trying to affect any sort of push. Well, now, REYNOR just does not have the opportunity. Oh, no, getting another Void Ray, though. That is rather significant, but REYNOR now, he doesn't have that timing. Not anymore to really make the type of push that he hit in Oxide, that he hit in Juggernaut, even if one wasn't successful. Losing that many queens means it's just going to be Hydraling Bane, and Hydraling Bane just melts to the amount of storms that are going to be on the map in the coming 30 seconds.
You're definitely right there. So we do have that Groove Spine. That's going to be the catalyst for this attack. And remember that when he did make it work on Oxide, he had that purple carpet just absolutely blanketing his opponent's side of the map. This time he's not going to have that. He's not going to have Bane speed either. So the Zealot Charge is just going to be able to push this back. And yeah, here we go. Trap doing his first little forward. Good Storm going to just bait that back, or just kind of hide that back.
This is the second time in a REYNOR Trap series that we've seen Trap storm his entire army instead of his opponent. Won't be all that impactful in the end of the day. Only put like 1 tick of damage on the army, but Trap maybe reaching for a storm that didn't happen. Now you talk about Groove Spines, and maybe that is going to be the timing here. But any Banelings that do get morphed, well, Baneling speed is not done for another 20-30 seconds. Which means they're just going to waddle in and not be all that useful. Now, it should be not understated. REYNOR's army is scary. It is up 20-30 supply. It does have +1. It will have Banelings soon, and Banelings are pretty good against everything that exists here. But this Zealot run by is actually going to be really nice. Now, it should be cut off at the knees, and yeah, it's not going to do much. But what it has done once again is just forced REYNOR back. It's forced REYNOR to not deal with the incoming attack. And every second that Trap has is time that he can, well, time that +1 air is closer. Time that we have carriers are close to completing. And oh, now REYNOR, he's going in for the full surround. One storm will be okay. Actually, it's going to be really good as the Hydras do run on into it. But this is a full 360 surround, and these storms from Trap are going to have to be incredible. They're already looking pretty good as the supplies do equalize. Well, Banelings are running out of things, and we do still have a decent amount of storms here. Hydra's trying to take the fight, and the Void Rays, they're going down. But we got Charge Lots behind this. We have Templar. We have High Templars with Storm, and the supplies have equalized. Carriers are now on the way, and this is absolutely a really good hold from Trap here thus far.
I think that was about as good as REYNOR could get in that situation, but it was still just not enough to push his way through. So with Trap, having those carriers on the way, he still has so much Storm energy to expend. I think that was kind of the killing blow here. So now Trap, he doesn't even really need to attack. He just needs to bank up those carrier interceptors, and he will be able to kind of clean this up. But here we go. REYNOR going to go in one more time. The Archons going to soak up a lot of those Banes. The Zealots doing what they can. Shield Battery Overcharge is popped in. As the Archons fall, there's still so much Storm energy left. Losing one Storm full of High Templar, though. Yeah, it's just not enough here, I feel, but it's so close.
Oh, well, that carrier is being distracted. That carrier actually may go down here. That does make the hold a lot harder, but now we'll be able to make its way back in time.
Nope,
and now we should have, how many carriers? We have 2 carriers on the map. Third one is on the way, and it looks like Trap, just by the skin of his teeth, he's going to hold. And you know what? Yes, if we go into pure late game here and the Zerg hasn't just kind of gone all in, yeah, Zerg can win a late game. It's hard. You can see that there's a reason that Zerg players don't really want to play onto this late game. Playing against Carrier Storm is an incredibly difficult proposition. And that is why we've seen players like Sterile and REYNOR just lean hard into this pseudo all-in, this kind of hard to call 5 bases an all-in, but this extremely committed pressure. But on the flip side, if you don't kill, if you don't get a ton of economic damage done, if you don't knock the 4th base out, it is just not going to work out very well for you whatsoever. So now we do have, of course, 2 carriers are out. We should see that 3rd one coming in. Oh, those Banelings, though! They're going to get all the Storms, and now this is becoming possible for REYNOR. All of a sudden here, 8 workers do go down. Hydra's finding their way in, and yes, we have Shield Battery Overcharge once again, but it will be exploded here, as will all of the Zealots warping in. But despite that, maybe there are just enough carriers, even though all the Storms go down, that this is going to be a hold, but it is becoming so difficult for Trap here as 2 carriers have already died. 3rd one going to maybe get targeted down. More and more Zerglings, more and more Hydras streaming onto the other side of the map. And with that one Baneling connection, Trap, he's going to fall out of this map. REYNOR, he's found his timing, a timing that didn't exist in this game.
Oh my god, that went about as bad for Trap as that possibly could have. These interceptors are going down like flies. They're going down as quickly as he can make them. Those carriers are pretty much flying paperweights right now. And as REYNOR crushes the 4th base here, the Archon's not going to be able to morph. GG is called, and REYNOR forces the ace match. Oh my god.
That should not have worked. REYNOR was out of that game. He was hitting this timing, trying to make this push happen, and he hadn't left because, you know, he still had a chance. But the only way that happens is if he gets a couple Banelings connected with like 6 High Templar. And Trap didn't split appropriately. I guess he trusted the Archon buffer, but the Archon buffer went down, and suddenly 6 High Templar. That's like 8 Storms. It all went down. And suddenly there's nothing to cut through the Banelings, nothing to cut through the Hydras, and the Queens followed up, and we're going to game 5. I am in shock right now, Passer.
You know what? The one problem with Trovo is it doesn't have a clip function because, oh my god, I wanna take that clip and I wanna watch it over again and again because, my god, that was like the luckiest thing in the world, but also like the most thoughtful thing that REYNOR did because you saw him split off those Banelings, and like you said, High Templars plus Banelings equals no.
Yep, and you know, you say that. Trovo does have a clip function. I don't know, it's recently added. It's not as good as Twitch's.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not as good as Twitch's in terms of like Reddit integration, but it works pretty well on its own site. So you can absolutely clip that if you want. But game 5 is now, it's going to be on Juggernaut. REYNOR did not win this map the previous time. He tried to go for an all-in with Hydraling Bane Queen. Didn't work out. But the last couple games that he has gone for this Hydraling Baneling Queen attack, it has worked out pretty well for him. So we're gonna have to see whether this is what he decides to go for, whether he wants to try something else. But regardless, it's gonna be our last game of the morning.
I know, right? It has been quite the journey, and you know what, guys? It has been fantastic to share it with all of you. I mean, these games have just been absolutely fantastic, amazing. And I think you can all agree that this is the best way to start your morning with an ace match between 2 top level players from 2 different continents. Let's introduce them for the final time today, and let's send all of your energy into last game, spawning down here in the bottom position of Jagannatha. He is a freak of freaks, Trap.
And in the upper right, trying to fight his way back from a severe deficit in the blue, he is the Italian Stallion, the Zerg Maestro. He's REYNOR. No 12 pool here in game number 5. We're going to see at least it go another 5 minutes.
Oh, man, there is so much to play for right now. And the thing is, we've talked about it. Those pushes have worked so well for him. Jagannatha, a much larger map. But you know what? With the acceleration zones, I think Pig actually did a emphasis on it. It's not actually that much bigger since you do have those acceleration zones. So really from here, like, if REYNOR can push out that creep like he has been doing, if he can kind of get that highway going, I think he's going to be able to do it once again, but it's all going to come down to those storms.
Absolutely. Now, we talk about how much there is to play for. We should probably mention exactly how much that is. First place receives $500. Second place receives $300. So, that's a full-on EPT weekly in terms of prize differential. So, rather significant. And of course, it's a $200 differential, and that doesn't even include the money from the Matcherino code. So if there are any codes left that may have been used up, I'm not sure, make sure to use the code. Go on at Matcherino as we sit here getting ready to move to our final game. Go to Matcherino, use the code TOD2, add 50 cents to the prize pool, and let's make sure that, honestly, with the quality of games that we've been receiving in this round robin, in this grand finals, let's give these players the money that they have deserved, because, man, Pastor, we have had some insane games today. I'm just sad this is a best of 5. Let's go best of... Okay, I have to do other stuff today, and I'm hungry, whatever. But let's go best of 9.
Nah, the heck with that. Let's just make it a best of, like, 68.
Well, that means that there's a chance for a tie.
Yeah, I know, but then that means they have to play it all over again. Everyone wins.
Oh, that is fair.
But
I think we win and lose. There's the whole, I'm tired, I want food, but on the flip side, I get to cast more insane StarCraft. So, like, you win some, you lose some. And Trap, he's going for the Twilight build here in game number 5.
Oh, man, he is risking it all. But if this gamble pays off for him, he is going to feel on top of the world. Basically, you know why you keep mistaking REYNOR for Serral is because he's a mini Serral. Serral is the guy, he has pretty much... mirrored to a T with how good he plays, and this Adept build is looking to punish that. Now, it would be cool because Trap has finally beaten Serral in the finals for the first time back in Last Chance. So now it's REYNOR. His goal is to beat all of the top EU Zergs, I think.
Yeah, if he wins this tournament, he will have gone through the number 2 and the number 3 players in the world right now. Per League Lock. Now, that is a bit of a biased ranking because it, depends on how many victories you play against, yada, yada, yada. So is realistically Clem the best Terran in the world? I don't believe so, but in terms of results for League Lock, yes, he is. So yeah, Trap, if he does this, he will have beaten the number 4 Terran, the number 2 Protoss, and the number 1 Terran in the world to get here. And now we do have the Glaives push coming their way onto the other side of the map. We have the Warp Prism, and, well, we're going to see a Warp In coming on in here. Now, there's Run By. Let's just say, wait a minute, there's a Stalker on the wall. I'm not going to get anything done here, but we have more and more Zerglings on the way. And we got to question things, right? Because Trap has gone for this build a couple times. It has not been successful. Oh, one of these Adepts will get caught immediately. Nice job there from Trap, keeping things alive. So 23 Zerglings, and the Queens are in position. So I don't really think Trap gets all that much. I'm surprised. Oh, he let that complete. I'm just gonna say, I don't think that Trap gets too much done here. The Roaches are out, Queens are out. Yeah, these Adepts, yeah, they will be just ferried on. Oh, really nice job there. We'll be ferried onto the low ground. And yeah, Trap is committing. He's forcing more Warpins into this. This is unexpected, to say the least.
And the thing is, like, it really did come down to that first shade in, because now Reynor will have enough to kind of hold in multiple locations here. It looks like he's actually going to not let that finish, which is very smart there. But yeah, now Trap, he has spent a lot of minerals to get into this. He still doesn't have his third base up, only just now going to get that. So Reynor is going to have a little bit of a room to breathe, although, you know, Trap is going to kind of pretend like he's going in. He's not going to let those shades finish if he's smart.
So here's the question after this. Do we see Reynor follow up with something like we didn't see last time? Because yes, Trap won. Okay, yeah, this is not going to get anything done in the main base. Trap won a game where he went for the glaive attack, as Reynor will force to cancel right now. Where he went for the glaive attack to get anything done and was able to kind of sandbag it enough to where he just had this incredibly powerful Immortal or Charge Lat, Colossus, Blink Stalker army. Was able to move across the map and just kind of wedge himself in there. I'm not convinced because this late is going to be this third base is going to be comparatively later than it was for the last game. Than the last game that happened. Yeah, it was a minute later. It was a 7-minute timed third base in the previous game, but the timing of everything was pushed a minute back due to the 12 pool. So this time we have what compares to a 7:20 third. So third base is even later because of the cancel. And Trap, we don't see a Robo Bay on the way. We just see Blink and Immortals, as he's worried about I assume he's worried about a follow-up, but because Reynor's not doing that, Trap just continues to fall further and further behind.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for him. We do see that gateway explosion. He's also getting all the upgrades that he can. Yeah, he's getting Blink, which I'm a little worried for. I think Charge would be a little bit more prudent, but, you know, this guy knows better than me. He is going to snipe a Queen, which is a very nice pick off there. Going to just try and keep that creep as far back as possible. And really, Reynor has not been spreading that as far as he really should. So if he does decide to go for any sort of a big attack, he's going to have to really kind of waddle his way over because he doesn't have speed just yet. That's about 20 seconds away. And yeah, he's just trying to backstab right now while Trap is trying to exert himself out on the map.
Yeah, and we talk about, well, Reynor. Yeah, he's no intention to attack whatsoever. As actually, this is a fake third, actually.
No.
Yeah, and Reynor will see this. Look at this. There is one probe on the third base. Trap has not been mining. Trap has cut workers pretty hard. And yeah, he just spent a lot of force fields. He was able to remove a lot of Zerglings from the map, but Trap, he's going for an all-in here. This is not a third base. Let's see if I can do something later. This is an Immortal Sentry Blink Stalker timing here. Not even +1, just all this. And now Reynor is aware. Now he knows what he has to be afraid of, as 3 spines will go down. More and more army units are on the way. The question is whether Reynor has noticed it in time. Now Reynor, he is up 20 army supplies, so that is something going on pretty well for him there. But this is a powerful Protoss army for the moment. As Reynor, he has canceled that 5th base when he did double expand. He got a little bit greedy there. And we're seeing the supply differential even. Now, what we're looking for here is when a Protoss goes all in, if their supply is even, suddenly that's really good. But oh no, Trappy blinks forward, and then he move commands for half a second. So much of this army is going down. Baneleaks will connect on everything, and this is just not going to work. The Roach army, the Ravagers, the Lings, they're going to get on top of everything. The Warp Prism will get targeted down with an Immortal inside, and GG Reynor, he's going to take it.